Alright, so here's a quick diagram I did. This is the overview of basically what we're going to do. So we're going to start with the amp kit. The amp kit comes with the battery power, the ground, the blue is for remote on, and then RCA cables, red and white. And then this harness here, which is what I got off Amazon, this basically, taps into the OEM head unit. So this basically plugs into the head unit, and then the connectors that we remove from here will go right into here. So it's basically just plug and play. But as you can see now, we have this new RCA output with the remote. So that will allow us to send those audio signals. These tap into the front speakers, I believe. And we can put our RCA cables here, and these will get run from the head unit to the back of the car. And this will go straight to the amp. So basically, yeah, that's what you need. And then you have our bass link. This is the subwoofer. It comes with this 14-pin connector. As you can see, it has 4 high inputs that you can wire, but we're not using any of these. All I'm going to be using are the yellow, the black, which is ground, and then the blue, which is remote. And what this does is send a signal to the subwoofer to tell it to turn on or off. So I do suggest wiring that. You can have the option to not wire it, but I like it wired. That way it always sends a signal. Because it does have an auto on and off feature, but sometimes I feel like it cuts off sometimes with that feature on. So definitely you want to wire that in. You might as well wire it while you have the chance to do it. Alright, and then it just goes to the sub. So once you got, these are all the components. This harness plugs into the bass link, and as you can see, it's got a little knob down here. This knob actually allows you to quickly remove and place it back on. So if you need the storage space, you can just quickly take it off, put it somewhere, and then quickly put it back on. And this connector allows you to quick connect from the subwoofer. So there's a cover that pops off. You unplug this connector, and then you take the sub out, and then you're done. And you can use your room. So as far as the overview install, basically you're gonna connect to the battery. I'll wire this through the fender, down to the side, all the way to the back. That's going to the harness. The red will connect to the 2 yellows on the harness, and then you have your ground here, this black wire. There's probably some bolts here somewhere in a hatch that I'm going to find and then look at. But basically you want to bolt that into a ground, and that ground will go to this harness as well, so that you got the power. And then the last thing you need is this remote. If you want to wire it, wire the remote from here, run this wire back, and plug this to the harness. So you got these 3 connectors going to the harness that will quick connect into the bass link. And then over here you have your RCA cables. These RCA cables will come from the factory head unit and go back, and these will plug directly into the bass link. The bass link will have we'll have RCA inputs where you can plug in for the signal for the bass. That's pretty much it. So let's get on with the install and see how she works out. So I'm still waiting on my amp kit. So the first thing I'm doing right now is deciding where I want to mount it on the left side. But since the way the control knobs are set up and the disconnect panels out back here, so I wanted to make it so I can adjust the knobs easily, and the harness, faces that way, so the harness doesn't have to wrap around the front. And as you can see, this knob down here, if I just untwist this, untwisting that allows me to remove the bass link anytime. So it quickly just releases the tension, and then this comes off. But so right now I'm just waiting for the amp kit. I'm gonna do what I can before it comes, so that way when it comes to the install, it'll be pretty quick. All right, so we're getting started. So I got the power ran. I'm going through here into the fender. You see there's a hole there, and I'm going underneath. So you can see up here, that's where I got the power wire going through. Through here, got it coming out. So I got these panels off, and I'm just gonna run it along to the back. Alright, so you can see what I'm doing here. I have the remote and RCA cables. I'm going to fish them actually underneath here and push them up to the top here. So we should get it to come up. So let's see if we can get this through. Alright, took some effort, but as you can see, I got it up here now. And now I can remove the tape and then you know, clean up the wiring and clean that up down there. Alright, as you can see, I got the zip ties here ready to go. I've got to clean up this wiring here. So basically, once the harness comes in, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in, and hopefully it's a plug and play, and then we'll hook up the wiring to the harness and plug it into the base link, and fingers crossed that it all goes according to plan. Alright, so just a heads up, so I had to drill this out a little bit just to make it bigger to fit, because I'm going to use this right here, which is the corner brace on this side, and this is going to be my ground, so that's where I'm going to mount it. As you can see, this has got some exposed wire, so I'm going to tape that up as well. But yeah, so as you can see, like I said, trying to get much pre-wired is done. All I'm waiting on is a harness right now, so it's supposed to get delivered today. But if it doesn't, it's okay, because I have, like I said, I have everything pre-wired. I just have to go up front and make sure that I have enough, you know, wire slack. I left it, so I left everything kind of loose still. All right, so we got everything wired up here. Just want to show you what I got. So I got the harness, you know, all wired up together. Put wire nuts, you know, taped it off at the end there. Then you got the RCA cable. So all this stuff right here is going to plug into the base link. So let's get that plugged up. Plugged in now, and while that's all plugged up, we can go ahead and put this cover on. Now we got the cover on, wires in, good to go. Alright, so this actually comes off pretty easily. This little trim cover just pops right off. It's sitting there on the floor. And then literally, like, this piece, if you just grab it, it literally just pops out. Right, ooh, yep, there you go. So you can see, so this is two pieces, so they can be separated once you get them undone. But yeah, and it just comes out like that. You have two bolts, 10 millimeters underneath here. One right here. It's right here. Like, let's see if you can see it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yep. So that bolt right there. So it's up in this corner here. So there's two there, and then two against the panel back here. But yeah, four together. You'll see it once you take it apart. Those four bolts. Alright, got a bolt there. Crack that loose. Then once that's loose, you can just kind of finagle. Just so you know, these bolts are really tricky. They're not magnetic, so if you like try to loosen them up too much, you can easily drop them. So I'm not sure if there's a
easier way, maybe I suggest putting some sort of tray in here, so when you're undoing the bolts, they just fall into it. Even if you have it like magnetic tray, it might be better. Just something to help, you know, so you don't lose these bolts. So I do recommend that, because they're kind of in an awkward spot. So, and as you can see here, this just pops right out after you undo those bolts. This literally I just pulled on it and it comes out. All right, the harness just got dropped off. Super excited. So let me figure out where these go. Here's an up close look at the connector, the harness. And you have your line output RCAs and your remotes here. So yeah, so it looks like this part goes into the factory radio, and then the existing radio connectors go into here. I'm gonna do these two here. They're right next to each other, because so these two are the ones that connect to the harness. All right, connected the remote wire. RCAs are connected. Let's see if it works. Here we go. Moment of truth. Whew. All right. I didn't check the subwoofer yet, so I don't know if there's ooh. Okay. I think.
Hold on, let's slow down for a second before we really get into it.
Oh, nice. This sounds sick right now.
All right, so yep, so that harness works perfectly. As you can see, I put in the video, it uses the two outer plugs, so it's like the black and the gray right next to each other. Those plug into the factory radio, and then you plug the original plugs into the harness, so it just kind of taps into it. And then after that, you plug in your RCA cables and your remote if you're using it. So my setup is I'm using the 10-inch Infinity Baselink DC. It's a 200 watt RMS subwoofer, and it works great. I could tell it was working right away as soon as I fired up the car, and I just noticed a significant amount of bass added. So yeah, this works perfect. If you have a 2019 and up Corolla hatchback, non-JBL, this harness works. It's confirmed in mine. It works in I have a 2020 SE. And it works perfect. So get this harness if you want a quick plug and play. This is it. This is the one to do right here. But yeah, super happy with it. Highly recommend it. Make sure you get it. All right, so that's it. That'll wrap up the install. So yeah, that harness from Amazon works perfect. So that makes the whole install process just that much more easier. And so now you guys can know which harness exactly to get, and then then choose what amp and sub setup you want and run it. But yeah, it's great. I love it. Let me see, I can play this song here, see what we got. Play you a quick
There you go. It's working perfectly, and this thing hits pretty hard. Like I said, this is what I like about the bass link in general. The bass link itself is just a good bass filler. It does what it does very well. If you, like you said, you have a decent system, you just want to add bass, this will fill that bass for you. You know, not for like bass junkies if you're hardcore into bass, but this is like, for me, I just want a good clean sound, and this 10-inch has nice clean hits, and I'm just super happy with this setup for this the Corolla hatch. So anyways, hope this video helped. Just to recap, you know, power, battery directly to the harness, RCAs running back from the head unit, running the remote to the head unit, back to the harness as well, and then you're just gonna plug in, you know, wire up the ground, and that's it. I mean, it's very few basic steps. I tried to simplify it as much as possible, so hopefully you guys can you know, just understand it easier and get on to your next mod. Happy modding, guys. E210 Corolla.
It's here. Can you feel it? Everything is in color, and I can feel the air. I can see it.
Hold on, let's slow down for a second before we really get into it.